There we go. I'm Glenn Darcy, Vice President of Product Management for Arturia. We're here with Gear for Music at the NAMM 2015 show. Talk about our new product. It's the Beatstep Pro. This is a follow-up to our very successful Beatstep product. We've basically taken it and just blown it out, gone over the top with the thing. Besides having the controller mode with pads that are velocity and pressure sensitive, you've got touch encoders here, 16 of those, as well as 16 assignable buttons. What we've changed in Beatstep Pro is we don't just have one step sequencer, we've now got two. And actually we have three because we have a drum sequencer as well. So the drum sequencer is 16 tracks. You can go into the drums. When you're playing them back, you've got each and every drum has its own track on here. So 16 tracks in one sequence. Now I've got 16 sequences for each of the sequences, all separate. The knobs in drum mode will either shift time back and forth for each step. You can adjust velocity or gate time with them. You can also then mute any one of the tracks at any time you want. On the sequencers, on 1 and 2, you've got the ability to send pitch, gate, and velocity off of the knobs, and you just shift through what they're doing with each of these buttons. You have 16 independent sequences for each of the sequencers as well. Now, all that's within one project. So you've got 10 projects. So really you've got 160 sequences on this, 160 different ones on this, and 160 16-track ones on this. All of this gets controlled, all off of the simple buttons here. Each sequence can now be up to 64 steps in length. They can be odd lengths. Each one doesn't have to be exactly the same. You can change one sequence at a time, or you can link the sequences so when you change one, it changes them all together. You can transpose sequences off of the pads. So we've mapped out the notes here. So when you're playing them, I can transpose them. I can link the transpose so that both sequences will transpose together, or I can transpose them individually. I can also transpose via MIDI input. As far as the input connections on this, turn it around here. You've got a separate CV and gate, as well as a velocity for each of the sequences. On the 16-track drum sequencer, we've got 8 drum gate outputs. So now you can be triggering all kinds of modular gear, analog gear with your drum gates. We've got clock in and clock out. With one of our DIN sync adapters on here, you can then do DIN sync. So it'll work as a 1 pulse per clock source, or a 24 PPQ DIN sync. You've also got MIDI in and out, as well as USB MIDI on this. From the front panel, we also wanted to add some more control functions to the sequences. Making the sequences is great, but it's nice if you can then vary them. So we built in a looper roller here, and like in our Spark software, while it's playing, I can touch 8th notes, and all of a sudden it's going to loop this 1/8 note section until I take it off. So I've got real-time controls over that. You've also got swing that can be global or per track, as well as a randomizer. And the randomizer allows you to build in little bits of random fluctuality into the drums or the 2 sequencers. And I could do it individually for each sequence or globally all over. So you have a randomness amount and a probability of how often that randomness is going to take place. So it adds some kind of cool performance features in here. Once again, all the knobs are touch sensitive. So when I'm in sequencer 1 and I want to see my pitch, I can touch a knob and it's going to show the MIDI note value, it'll show the velocity value, and it will show my gate time. So touch sensitive knobs work with all this. You've got multiple sync inputs, internal USB MIDI, or the external clock sources. We're expecting this to ship second quarter, and the street price will be $249 on this.